Awesome. Hey, good morning, everybody. I'm trying to get this up. I was in a momentary panic because it wasn't coming up. I think it's just slow. Okay, I got to go to the beginning. Never works the way you want it to. Okay, so I'm going to be a little bit different than last time because I tend to get very sciencey and technical, and that always backfires because compliance doesn't like something in there. So this is a little bit different. This is something I did for Gabe Pearson and a Chamber of Commerce. So it's something actually it's compliant and that you can share with new prospects. And it gets into a little bit of the science. So it's not as detailed as before, but I thought it'd be neat because it was something that you could actually use and share. And now I'm an anti-aging physician. And so every day I'm trying to biohack the aging process. So the things that we want to do as we're aging, well, this is me. But as we're aging is we want to maintain our good cognition. We want to maintain movement. We don't want to end up in a wheelchair. And we want to look young. And so I believe that LifeVantage has the perfect trio to help address all of those issues. And so what our term that we've kind of adopted, and there's a few people, Ben Greenfield and David Asprey, that are really talking about biohacking. I love it that our company's kind of jumped on board with that term. And everybody's got a little bit of a different definition, but it's basically you're going to use what available science and technology is out there to manipulate your systems, look at your genetics, optimize your genetics, and basically make yourself the best version of yourself you can possibly be in like 2020, right now. Like I just bought this little meter that measures my carbon dioxide output, and it can tell me then whether I'm burning fat or I'm burning carbs or somewhere in between. So it's helpful in managing your weight. And that's also an indication of your oxidative stress. So it's a pretty cool thing. So that's another thing you can do for biohacking. And I put this slide in here because really it's looking at any age. You want to be able to do what you did when you were younger, if at all possible. That's me down in the corner. That was at, I think that was in Long Beach. We were down in the hotel gym. But you can see people are snow skiing. There's a ton of seniors that are out there snow skiing. And that is one of the most dangerous sports as far as injuries go. So you really want to do it. And then the two people at the top are actually the same person. And it is none other than Master Pro 10 Gabe Pearson. And I don't know where he was surfing, but my God, those waves are huge. That's like the hurricane size waves that we get here in only when there's hurricanes and Gulf breeze. But that's impressive. I mean, that scares the daylights out of me, but he can still do that, guys. This is amazing. So the three theories of aging that you've heard before are oxidative stress, mitochondrial, and sirtuin. So we're going to get into those just briefly. So what is aging? What's really going on? Well, it's wear and tear. And oxidative stress is the main cause of wear and tear on our cells because we're all made up of cells. Cells make up tissues, tissues make up organs, and then organs make the person. So it's oxidative stress. And this is just, I thought I'd throw that in there. That's the outward appearance of aging, and we don't want to look old. I mean, we get up in the morning, you look in the mirror and you're like, oh my God, the jowls are coming. It's just annoying. I have bulldogs in my family and I'm trying really hard to avoid that double chin. So basically, this is the theory of aging. It's gradual microscopic damage to our cells, our tissues, that begin to cause us to lose our energy and our function, and it's basically aging. And that's me on the right some of the time. It's been that way during this current pandemic. Sometimes I'm managing my stress level better than others. So this is a good example, and I know you guys use this a lot in your presentations. But when an apple or an avocado oxidizes, it turns brown. Well, that's what's going on in your cells. They're getting rusty. So a cell with oxidative stress isn't functioning optimally. And an apple sure doesn't taste good when it gets over there on that brown side. And it's really not good for you because the vitamins and nutrients aren't good when they're oxidized. So when our body is under oxidative stress, the balance is disrupted. So we have more oxidative stress than our body's ability to handle it, and they call that antioxidant defenses. And it's a snowball effect because if you don't do anything about it, it just gets worse and worse and worse until you're old. Okay, so the external causes of free radicals are all of these things that you see here that our body is bombarded with, and this is getting worse and worse and worse because we are not taking care of our environment like we need to. We're going to focus a little bit on this organ structure that's a bean over here on the left. That's a mitochondria. And this is one of the things that I'm really upset about, is the amount of radiation that they're introducing in our environment from these 5G cell towers and our cell phones, and they just keep making them stronger and stronger and stronger. Well, radiation is not good for us in any form. You can see this person's face all lighten up, all red and hot after being on a cell phone for 15 minutes. You know, just because something doesn't do something awful to you immediately doesn't mean it's not going to do that chronically. And we're seeing more and more problems from the cell phone radiation. So this is causing oxidative stress as well. So you can look here and see all of these organs in the body that are affected by the oxidative stress. So we want to eliminate that, right? Well, problem is our body's inert defenses slow down over time, and they're affected by oxidative stress. So there's that snowball effect. So we've been trying to combat that with diet, eating the rainbow, eating the fruits and vegetables, a plant-based diet. And guess what? When you do that, you're one and done. So if you take a vitamin C, it knocks out one free radical of oxidative stress. You do vitamin E, it knocks out one free radical. We're not going to win the ballgame that way. And so what we want to do with LifeVantage and the people we're talking to is we want to teach them how to biohack with nutrigenomics, which means using the nutrition that we eat to actually turn on gene expression, as opposed to just knocking out a free radical itself. So we're going to talk about turning on our genes, and this is a paradigm shift. This is activation versus supplementation. When we take a vitamin, we're supplementing. So we're going to turn on these pathways in the body, flip the switches, feel better, do more. And when we turn on this first pathway, it's called NRF2, we're going to knock out 1 million free radicals in all of our cells every second. This is amazing. Again, one vitamin C knocks out one, vitamin E knocks out one. And it turns out we can't do it with diet alone. There are study after study after study trying to look at reducing oxidative stress with just diet and supplements, and it doesn't work. So when we turn on this genetic pathway, we're going to activate over 500 genes that are good genes. They have protective effects on our cells. So it's like a cascade, a snowball effect in the right way. We start a chain reaction. I love that this pathway is what we use to detoxify our heavy metals, our xenobiotics from pollution in our environment. It helps us get rid of plastics when we drink out of a plastic bottle. I don't know if this one does, but a lot of them actually release bad things into our, and it helps us create more mitochondria, which we're going to talk about, and improve mitochondrial function. And the last thing is a big deal in the anti-aging literature now. They're talking about autophagy, which is basically getting rid of waste out of the cell in the body, and that's really important for cellular health. So the first product we're going to talk about is our NRF2, and it's clinically proven to reduce that oxidative stress 40% on average in 30 days. And so you can see the 5 ingredients, and you have to tell people all the time, you can't go out and just buy a bottle of milk, thistle, bacopa, ashwagandha, and do the same thing. It's a precise recipe or combination that actually flips that NRF2 pathway on for about 6 to 8 hours, and that lowers the oxidative stress. One of the things I love is that it increases glutathione. That's our master antioxidant in every cell. And on average, after somebody's been on the product for about 4 months, do that taking a supplement because the body degrades it rapidly. So this is amazing. And this was our first product. Unfortunately, universities got a hold of it and asked to study it. And so we have over 25 peer-reviewed journal publications. That's unheard of with a branded nutritional product, because most people put together ingredients that have been studied individually, but the finished product isn't studied. They won't spend the money to have that studied. And so they don't really know what their product does. Because universities have come and studied our product, we have multiple publications that peer-reviewed means that they've gone through a board of physicians that have looked at the way that the study was done and made sure that it is good science. So it's a big deal to have peer-reviewed studies. So we know our product works. Now we're going to talk into the second theory of aging, was the mitochondrial. These are little bean-shaped structures that are in all our cells except for red blood cells. And as we get older, they decline in numbers, and that's because they're really affected by oxidative stress. But the interesting thing is, in the process of making our energy, doing business, mitochondria are releasing free radicals. So their waste product is actually hurting them. And so there has to be a way to help our mitochondria stay healthy. And that's where the NRF2 comes in. So the little cartoon on the right is showing when your mitochondria aren't working as well. So our mitochondria are basically taking the food we eat and converting it into energy, which is called ATP. And it's a key marker of aging, and there are ways they can study mitochondrial decline. I hate this, that by the time you reach 70, if you're not doing something about it, 50% of your mitochondria are damaged in your brain. And so you can look at this and see some of these things that are pretty ubiquitous. They're, in our environment, and we're all exposed to this. So our mitochondria are under attack. So the next product we have is the NRF1. We are going to flip the switch on that pathway that creates more mitochondria. So we've got the NRF2 that's helping protect the mitochondria, and we're going to make more. And so this is awesome. So when we do that, again, it's a precise combination of ingredients that turns that pathway on, and we can actually measure the fact that we are making more mitochondria, and we'll show you that. And these two pathways are dependent on each other. If you don't have the NRF2, then the NRF1 won't work, or the mitochondria will die. So I'm not going to get into the science of that this time, but we can do that again. But they have to have each other. So the next pathway is the sirtuins, and those are our longevity genes, and we know that they decline as we age. So by the time you're 80, they're barely functioning unless you do something about it. So they're known as the cellular guardian. They do so many things, you can't even list it all here, but they help protect against DNA damage, and they do help keep the proper balance of glucose and fat metabolism in our body. So amazing genes, and we want them working. So an NAD, turns out, is necessary to increase sirtuin activity. And NAD starts the whole process of energy production in the mitochondria. And so we need NAD activate the sirtuin genes. So the third thing we have, and this is the big rage in the anti-aging community now, is how do we increase sirtuin activity? How do we create more NAD? And LifeVantage has the answer. This is amazing. There are several competitors on the market, and I'm going to show you how much better this product works. Again, it's a combination of ingredients that's activating the body. So this is what everybody is fasting, intermittent fasting. They're trying to lose weight. They're trying to activate those sirtuin genes. So a 72-hour water fast increased sirtuin activity just 90 or 94%. 2 of the Protandim NAD capsules increases at 100%, just 1 dose in 24 hours. The leading competitor that's an NAD agonist on the market is nicotine riboside, and there's several brands, and it increases at 2%. So you can see why I'm so excited about our product. These are some of the benefits you can expect to see when somebody's improving their sirtuin activity and their NAD production. For me, the mental energy was probably even more than the physical energy, but after 2 months in the gym, I noticed that I had to actually increase the intensity of my workouts because they had gotten so easy. So this is how we know that we're doing what we say we're doing. These are markers of each one of the products individually. The one on the left is the Protandim NRF2, shows the amount of gene activity we're increasing. And these are just markers of reducing oxidative stress. So in this case, the higher the bar is, the better we're reducing oxidative stress. And then the next one shows markers of creating more mitochondria or biogenesis. You can see what the product does. And then on the right, it shows the increased activity of NAD. But this is what is so exciting, and this is why we call it the tri-synergizer. When we put the 3 together, we get so much more increased gene activity, and that would be the bars on the right. So what I recommend for people, this was studied gene activity in a test tube or a Petri dish, that you want to take these products together, if at all possible, to get that jacked up gene activity. If you have to separate them, they're probably working as well, but probably not as much as if you can take all 3 together. And again, these products are not intended to cure, mitigate disease, but we're trying to biohack the aging process. So I say that the Protandim Tri-Synergizer is a key to an activated life and increasing and supersizing your health span. Yay! So we want to be like Gabe, catch that big wave. So that's it.